Hello everyone, welcome to the SMITE Guide to Odin. This is the infamous, the Jungle Odin. Now, Jungle Odin compared to compared to typical junglers who are assassins, Odin is fairly interesting where he's inconsistently as fast as them. You see, Odin is mildly slower than assassins are, across the board. But his passive boosts his movement speed whenever anybody on the field dies anywhere on the map. So you kind of keep up with them, and you might be thinking, well, Professor, that's nice and all, but how is that going to help me in the long term? Well, if you bird bomb correctly and you start off your fights correctly, this actually is much less of a potential issue overall. You do have a decent amount of leeway there to absolutely work with getting, you basically are killing camps faster than them a lot of the times because your bird bomb will pretty much insta-wipe any jungle camp you care to use it on, or bring it down so low in health that a couple of auto attacks later and it's gone. Whereas a lot of other assassins would need to spend a little bit more time at it. So really a combination of your passive use, well, taking advantage of your passive would be a better phrase, and judicious use of bird bombs will get you where you need to go. However, what can help this in a large part is good ganking, because bird bombing people to death is incredibly potent, as you can imagine, if you're building a damage Odin. Now, if you're used to playing him solo, and this is something that I'll need to keep in mind throughout this match, because I've been playing him with the defense overall, is that he is a lot squishier this way, right? I have to keep in mind that I will be receiving larger amounts of damage than I'm used to as Odin. So this is something I'm going to need to keep an eye on and adjust for my decisions. Now, you'll notice, what is my grammar going on here? You'll notice I went with Gungnir's Might as my opening move there, right, as my opening ability. That is because the pulses from Gungnir's Might are going to do that bonus damage to the jungle camp. So for your level 1 ability, Gungnir's Might is actually tough to beat. It's the best start for Odin overall. Your second ability is usually should be Raven Shield. You might instinctively think Lunge would be the move here. Lunge would be the move, but it isn't actually. The shield is a better move because you can use it for offense if you are going to, you can use it to just stick close to your opponent and have the shield pop naturally and do damage that way, as it can do. Or alternatively, you can use it to help you get away in a similar situation as Lunge, but without any fear of, say, being stunned would get you killed or whatever. Because say I get stunned right after I use Raven Shout. Boom, I've got my health shield, whereas if I'm stunned, I can't jump away. Right? So, generally speaking, your first ability as a Jungle Odin is going to be Gungnir's Might. Your second is Raven Shout, and your third is Lunge. And then after that, you're basically just boosting Raven Shout because, again, it's very impressive as an ability for both defense and offensive purposes. She timed that really well because I was absolutely stuck on that minion. Now, normally, if she had been, farther away, I would have blinked to catch up to her, but I don't need to here. Because you want to be doing this. Now, there's a specific reason why most people use the hog very specifically on the damage buff first, and that is because it hits harder than the speed buff does. So ultimately, that's why you would want to utilize the hog on that specifically. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there because I was trying to kill Hobwa there. That was nice. That was huge, actually. Now, again, just to reiterate, it is just as effective, if not, in some cases, it's just about as effective to wear an opponent down that low on health as it is to actually end them. That's not up. We're going to go for this right back here. Because I need mana. It was a good kill by Loki. I may have to go and visit over there pretty soon for another gank. He's really slapping her down. I'm going to go over there and gank her, actually. I don't even... Yeah, he's not even going to need me. This man is absolutely slapping. Damn. Okay. So I now know that with Loki having 2 kills up on Amaterasu, I now can register as a jungler. Look, I don't need to go over there. Unless he gets ganked by mid lane or the enemy jungle. So what I'm going to do, really, at this point, is just... I'm literally just going to ward mid lane. And that's the glory of a jungle Odin. I kind of let that sit mutely for the specific reason that I wanted you to see the glory of jungle Odin. I'm actually going to come over here and gank this lane really quick. I was originally going to go for the oracles, but I did not have my bird bomb up. But I'll have my bird bomb up for this beautiful gank here. I am not going to be able to do enough damage to make this happen. I do not have the mana for this. But again, I've worn down their health a lot. They picked up my boy there. That was fantastic. So overall, we are doing quite well for ourselves. Unfortunately, the enemy jungler of Loki did come in and take the Chiron, which is unfortunate. The problem with Loki is that he's very difficult to keep an eye on. Normally you would use... I mean, obviously, wards would really help there, but I didn't have any up at the time. I'm trying to figure out if... Now, you'll notice Persephone is clearing her own damage camp. I could have gone over there. I could have looped back around and taken that. There are some mages I let take their own damage camp, depending on the mage. Persephone is one of the few that I am fine with doing this. Habwa is another one. Janus, Zeus, and Poseidon also are really good at clearing their own mana buff. She got killed. Where is he now? Nope. Oh, good play, good play. Not enough, though. Nope. He goofed that. Yeah, he is absolutely dominating her. Again, my only real need for impact there is I'm going to want to keep the left side of the jungle relatively warded. Preferably from the mid lane, because that means if Habwa decides he wants to rotate, then Loki will know about it. That's all I really need to do at this point. That is all he needs me to do. And that also leaves Persephone free to ward the right-hand side of her lane as much as she wants. This is generally good practice anyways, but it's particularly important if your solo lane is absolutely slapping. Okay, good. She recovered. That's good. At this particular point, all I basically need to do as a jungler is not die to the Loki, which is why it was so important. That's why he chased me so hard before. I'm just going to pass through and steal a little bit here. Now, you might be tempted to jump over walls that you can't see and everything, but if you jump over a wall and the enemy jungler has already cleared that camp, then you just wasted mana of 2 abilities worth of mana for something you can't get. You're gonna... Nope, that was not a good move. I'm going to die. Here I go. I should not have done that. When Sabwa showed up, I should have left. I got greedy. 100% my fault. That is 100% my own greed getting me killed. I should not have done that. He is also decently ahead of me. I need to farm a little bit harder here. Okay. He's just ahead of me because he's been absolutely ganking fantastically. Now, despite the fact that Odin obviously has great ganking potential here, his approach, I am a little more limited in my approach than Loki. Loki has that beautiful invisibility that he can use to get in a nice, clean approach. I'm going to need to keep an eye. I feel like something is about to happen in either mid or solo lane, but I'm not sure which one, so I'm kind of nervous about it. Persephone seems to be fine right now. Loki is apparently fine right now. My sentry is about to go down, so I'm going to want to replace that. I'm going to go ahead and put this ward here. I'm going to put... There he is. That was nice. Nice. Shoot. Alright, we're just going to go ahead and gank this Amaterasu then, so he can stay ahead. Not quite. No, we can get out of here. This is fine. Ta-da! That could have gone slightly better overall. I wish we'd been able to take the Loki. It is unfortunate that we did not get to do so, but we also made sure that Loki did not die, so that was really nice. Is this up? Ah, shoot. That was really low res. Why was that so low res? Okay. He went over to the right lane almost immediately afterwards, huh? Fair enough. Okay. I'm gonna finish this for Jotun's Vigor right here. I'm gonna start working on this. And, okay, Amaterasu's not there. Loki is not gonna need a gank. Bois not there. Persephone doesn't need a gank. Let me help you out with that. Okay, I'm going to go for the oracles right now, assuming they're up. They are not. There's her. There's you. I'm not actually seriously trying to fight you. I'm just poking you out to see what you do. The fact that he retreated meant that there was nobody around. Okay, we weakened him down pretty nicely. Loki's not in the left, so that's not worth a gank right now. I'm just going to back off, see where there's Loki. There's Loki. Okay. There's Hubwa. Okay, Jormungandr is backing. They don't need me here. I'm going to see if I can gank Sheeplanke over here. Chiron is not over here, but that's also half his abilities. Ah, hello. No! I goofed it. I messed that up. But Chiron did pick that up. He should be able to get out of there. Right now it's just a series of trades, basically, between the whole teams. Both teams. I really couldn't afford to die there, unfortunately. I did. Loki died as well, though, and he's going to be down for a little longer, so I should be able to gain 1 level on him. I should be able to hit 9, maybe 10. Catch back up a little bit here. And then if I can turn that around into a nice gank, I should be able to catch up with him very little problem. Alright. Let's see what we can do. That's not a gank. I shouldn't have bothered trying to come over. That's my opportunity to catch up to Loki gone. They still looking for a kill over there? Let me clear this with just autos just to see what happens. Okay. Loki does not need me right now. Beautiful. Somebody does not need me stealing her farm right now. There's Sheeplanke. Alright. That was fantastic. Ah, he beads. Shoot. I didn't think he had his beads up. Alright. was a whiff and a half. Missed that? Okay. Oh, shoot. Holy cow, they had everything up and I did not even know. It's my fault for overcommitting without having enough knowledge. I was too aggressive there. I keep getting too aggressive because I'm trying to catch up to Loki. I am catching up slowly. Right now, at this particular point in time, it's mostly because I've died a couple of times through my own personal bad decisions, and now I'm trying to play catch-up as a result of that, because the enemy Loki has been playing very well as a jungler. Both Lokis actually have been playing absolutely fantastically this match. I've made some bad decisions and died for them, which, again, kind of a call back to the introduction to jungling, where it's the role where the mistakes are the most punishing, really, because you have a hard time catching back up. Now notice that I've not warded the left half of the mid lane for a little while. There's two reasons for this. One is I can't afford it. That's the first reason. Second off, now that Loki's cleared the left tier 1 tower, he doesn't need so much me to do that anymore. I cannot help him with that right there. Can I do anything with this? Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. That was a great opportunity. He overextended. Why is Loki over here? Kaboom. Where is he? There he is. No, he's gonna make it out. Oh, he did not make it out alive. Good. Ouch, I'm gonna get slapped. Raven shield for the win. I don't want to fight that. I am gonna get killed if I persist with this. And I cannot afford to die right now. Oh, wait. I'll take the assist. Good enough for me. I gotta get out of here. Okay. That was good. That was good. I'm only level down from Loki. I didn't die for that. We got a lot of enemies down. I'm actually going to build, in a rare move, I'm going to build Aegis. Okay. And now at this point, I'm going to do something a little surprising. I'm going to grab Berserker's Shield. Berserker's Shield, yes. Because I personally, I might grab Shifters actually. Because I personally, when I play, even when I'm playing Jungle Odin, I like to build a small amount of protections. And considering they're physical heavy, I'm going to be building some physical protections right here. I think I'm going to go Shifters. It makes a surprisingly large difference. So I do, it's just very powerful on Odin, just build a little bit of protections. And the reason why Odin stretches it more than most other junglers is, again, the Raven Shield. That's basically acting as bonus HP. It takes advantage of your protections. That was a weird exchange. Peekaboo. Oh, I goofed that throw. Oh, Shiblanka is a problem. I will tank this. Ah. Oh, that was beautiful. Barely. I wasn't 100% sure I was going to survive that. But I did, and I'm so terribly happy about it. Now we're just going to clear some camps here. To rejuvenate and recharge. Persephone will be able to get her damage camp. Maybe even grab an assist off of this bad boy. Or not. That's fine. I think it was a wasted opportunity for her, but okay. You know, I'll respect it. Loki's just wiping out the left jungle. Unfortunately for me, so I'm just going to back then. Shifter's Shield. Good. My next move is going to be what? I'm trying to think of what I need. That's a really good question. I might get the Crusher. We going in on this? We can. Peekaboo. Again, when you're an assassin, you got to look for those opportunities to pop in and out of a fight. You don't want to, like, stand and box someone as an assassin most of the time. There are some assassins that can do that. Basically, anyone with an auto-attack focus can do that. But they only want to be boxing one person at a time, obviously. Most of the time, it's just asking to die. But that's something that a lot of, I think, junglers really forget. It's not so much that they don't know it, it's just that they forget that they really shouldn't be kind of trying to accomplish sustained combat. You gotta pop in, exit. You'll notice I went in on Jormungandr, did what I needed to do, did my damage, left, came back in when they weren't paying any attention. Now, I don't mind splitting with Iset because she's the support. Really, primarily her number one method of getting golden experience is splitting it with someone, so I'm not too concerned about it. That's already gone, unfortunately. I wonder if these mid-harpies are up. I need farm. I have not been farming as much as I should be. I mean, I was probably going to fall behind Loki anyways. He's one of those slightly faster junglers. But this is ridiculous. I wasn't expecting to be 3 levels down here. That's a little extreme. It's because of, again, mistakes I've made, bad decisions I've made. Not sure that's the kind of fight they want right now. They're actually kicking people around over there, so I'll give them props. I don't want to press this fight right now, because I will die. I don't have enough mana for this. Wait a couple of seconds for Heavy Mace, because why not? There we go. Are they seriously fighting, or are they just kind of poking each other? I can't tell. I mean, it's fine that they're there because we're decently ahead, but I'm just not really sure what the actual context here is. I mean, what's the goal? What are we fighting for over there? There's Jormungandr for no reason. Okay, 2 levels down, so not bad. Good. Just trying to catch up to Loki right now. Grabbing up some tasty morsels of experience and gold. Doing a decent job with that. Alright. No. Okay. Is he committing to this? Like, what's the story, Wishbone? I can't see shit. There we go. I know your ult is down, so it's not like you're gonna do anything to me. There we go. Catching up. Yeah, that's fair enough. Go away. I don't know why I bothered with that. We'll just recharge a little bit by clearing this. Where is Xbalanque now? Nowhere to be seen. No, he doesn't need me right now. Okay, I was going to say I'm going to go over there and help Loki. He does not need me right now. I don't want to fight Xbalanque one-on-one. That is not going to be a fight I can win. He is a hunter that is just asking to die. I'm going to use this opportunity now that the enemy Loki is dead once again to catch up. Once and for all. It's Xbalanque again. Lunatic. Okay, I'm going to leave Chiron to that because I don't think Chiron's in any particular danger from Xbalanque right now. He's a little bit ahead in terms of gold. I think he's... I did compare the right numbers. Alright, I was like, did I compare the right people? Yes. He is a little bit ahead in terms of golds. That's fine. We've hit level 19, which is good. Loki's still dead, so he's still got a little bit more time to fully catch up. Because I'm sure he's not just barely 19 like I am. I'm sure he's a little bit farther along than that. There we go. That puts us back on the map. A couple of good fights, a couple of good assassin gameplay. I had to get out of my habit of trying to sustain in fights that I really had no business trying to sustain in. Now, notice I waited until after my attack chain was done. That's because the animation is so long on that final attack that if you can actually auto-cancel that, I believe the term is specifically. I don't know why he was... Well, I can understand why he's up there. He's doing really well. He's feeling cocky. I've been there. The fact that Jormungandr ulted in is a little bit questionable, but... That was beautifully timed. Can we take you out as well? Yes. Except I whiffed everything. I am out of mana. Oh, goodness. I'm just going to try to stall out and use the fire giant to my advantage. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I knew Xbalanque was going to kill me once he came over there. The fire giant plan almost worked out. Almost. Grab the Crusher. Then we're going to grab the Glorious Heartseeker. We will be in great business. Alright, so yeah, we're slightly behind the enemy jungler at this point. That was good. That was good. She should have gone back after that fight. She was so low that she didn't need to be there. That was... I mean, she's not that far behind right now in terms of level or gold either. She's 1,300 gold down. Well, she was 1,300 gold down originally, I believe. And she was only a level down. She wasn't so far behind where that she needed to take that risk. I'm going to be really honest. That was kind of silly. Actually, should I get... I can worry about that later. No, what I'm going to do... I do want this. I'm going to save the rest of my gold for the increased Boomba's Spear right now. I want to get a decent amount of protections going on here. I see the fight between the Lokis. And pop. Okay. Now, if you think that I'm falling a bit behind the Loki, I mean, again, I was 2 levels farther down than I would expect to be because of my bad decisions, but Mercury is worse than Loki. He is very difficult to keep up with because he has a natural movement speed boost just across the board all the time, and that really makes it difficult to maintain pace with him. It's possible, but it's just much more difficult. That's fine. We can make this work. Very nice. They might have gotten the Pyromancer, but we're going to take half their team. I'm just going to loop around here just to make sure no one's kicking around. You are. I whiffed that completely. But that's okay. Very nice. The Xbalanque was the big threat on the board for the stealing of the Fire Giant. Warriors typically don't have the kinds of kits that allow for stealing, but you leave a Hunter in the midst for a while there, and especially Xbalanque with this split bolas can actually potentially steal it by just bopping a bola off of one of your allies. That's a serious risk. It doesn't sound like it'd be a whole lot, especially if the branching bolas, I mean, they only do 1/3 of his typical damage, but they absolutely can make a difference there. I don't want to stay here too long because this is not a great place for me to be. back really quick. I just wanted to stay there, left jungle. You see, he's coming in. And I did not have the mana for that. I probably would have been able to break free and escape, but I wasn't really willing to take that risk right then and there. Let's boost this up, and then we work on this. Okay, we're going to grab our speed buff. No, we don't have that opportunity. What we can do is jump on this on our way over there and just wipe that out instantly for free gold, basically. For the low cost of the small amount of mana that we instantly regenerate back. Did Jormungandr already ult? Kind of wondering. Get him. He did not already ult, and it did not matter. Okay. I guess I didn't need to use my Raven Shout there. Okay. Tank E-sets are a lot of fun to play if you know what you're doing, and clearly this tank E-set does. That is really nice to see. Yeah, she knows exactly what she's doing. Very nice. I'm going to try to cage Sheeplanke. That was huge. This is huge. Excellent. Perfect. That was absolutely fantastic. I knew you were going to do that. But little do you know, I have the actual chops. Oh, my goodness. Did I hit the Titan with that too? I'm not sure. I'll just Raven Shout up. Pop it. Thank you. Oh, yes. Okay. So, yes, I made some mistakes in the early game because I forgot that I was squishy, which is exactly what I warned you about originally. If you're a solo main and you're using Odin to try jungling, you're going to have that problem too. I forgot that a couple of times that I wasn't tanky. But this was also, I am glad to say that I was able to showcase a lot of the reasons why Odin is so amazingly good in the jungle role. He's got fantastic ganks. Really, Loki is one of three assassins I will warn you about jungling against. Now, again, I'm not saying that Odin can't jungle effectively against these assassins. You can. I did pretty well. I made some mistakes and fell behind, obviously, but I was able to recover from that thanks to having allies that knew what they were doing, which helps, but I was able to climb my way back to where I needed to be in terms of jungling. So even if you fall behind as Jungle Odin, just know that you can come back from that. Okay, Odin is actually fairly unusual in that generally the later the game goes, the better off he is, because you can get that power buff from enemies dying in your Ring of Spears, which can really come in clutch a lot more often than you'd think it would, or quite frankly, than it has any right to do so. So there is that, but ultimately what you're really looking to do with Odin is get some great ganks, or at the very least do enough damage to force the enemy back, and try and farm where you can. Now, a couple of key points is that early gank on Hobwall where I just bird bombed him right on just at the edge of his tower there. That was a great example of how potent Odin can be in the early game. I didn't gank quite as often as I would have liked to. Well, for the early game I ganked about as often as I wanted to. My mid lane ganks were, not my mid lane ganks, my mid game ganks were a little bit lacking, which is where I fell behind. I overcommitted a couple of times in the early to mid game transition phase, which is my problem there. But also I wanted to point out just how smoothly you can just wipe out a camp and just move on. When I was moving into the fight at the enemy's half of the jungle there, where I jumped onto the two harpy camp, the experienced camp on the right side, and I just kept walking, Odin can do that a lot, right? If Odin gets ahead, he can do that throughout the game as a jungler. I fell behind, so I wasn't able to do that. But if I had been ahead in the mid game, I could have done that in the mid game, just slapped and gone. Ideally, what you want to do with Odin, and again, I goofed this in the mid games, that's all on me. 100% my fault for making bad decisions. But ideally, as Odin, you want to get some strong ganks in the early game, 2, maybe 3 good ganks. And then you want to roll that into absolutely smooth jungle farming. Getting ganks where you can, clearing camps on your way by, barely having to even stop. Sometimes you'll have to maybe use your pulse from the Gungnir's Might to wipe them out. But Odin as a jungler is very powerful, and this is specifically why he's so popular in the role. He is very powerful in the role, and I do personally prefer him in the jungle role than I do in the solo role. That's a personal preference. I think his kit, at least the way I play, his kit works a little bit better for jungling, and he's one of the few assassins where I'm comfortable building some protections and not have it feel jarring or that I feel like I've lost a ton of power. And that's partially because of his ult and partially because Bird Bomb absolutely slaps. So there is one serious weakness. I mentioned this earlier where you don't want to be blindly bird bombing jungle camps that you can't guarantee are there, because if you're wrong, if the enemy jungler has cleared that camp, you're wasting 2 abilities worth of mana. I mentioned this before, but this also applies to ganking. If you goof a gank, you're probably dead. You could see that in this game where I made some bad ganks. And I died. And that's exactly one of the problems with Odin. A lot of assassins have the ability to pull off a gank and then get out of dodge. Loki can ult in, invis out, right? If I bird bomb in, that is literally half my options. I could use Ring of Spears, and against this particular comp, Ring of Spears was incredibly powerful. Loki was the only one who was able to consistently escape Ring of Spears with using his ult. Jormungandr could also escape it with his ult as well, but Amaterasu, Habwa, and Xiblanque all had no response to Ring of Spears. But a lot of the time, Ring of Spears isn't going to be enough because a lot of gods have leap, or some kind of a leap skill, that they can use to not only get out of the Ring of Spears, but continue pursuing you. So, while Ring of Spears would have been a very effective option for me to use as an escape mechanism against this very specific comp, this is unusual. And most of the time you're going to find that Ring of Spears will save you from some people but not others, but a lot of the time you're still going to die because Ring of Spears isn't necessarily going to be enough to protect you. For example, Xiblanque, if he had built attack speed earlier, which I completely understand why he would build Transcendence. It's a fantastic item on Xiblanque, practically required actually. But anyways, back to the point. If he auto-attacked his way out of the Ring of Spears and then used his dash, Jaguar's Rise, let me actually call it by its proper name. If he used Jaguar's Rise, or Rising Jaguar, pardon me, to pursue me, I probably wouldn't have been able to get out of that, right? He would have 5 auto-attacks to get out of the cage, Rising Jaguar to catch up, Poison Darts to slow me down, finish me off, right? This is assuming, by the way, I'm heavily enough damaged that I would want to escape from him. But it's not always, even if they can't just straight up jump out of the cage, don't assume you're safe. And as I mentioned earlier, yes, Raven Shield is a great dual mechanism for offense and defensive purposes, but if you're bird bombing into a gank and you goof it, you obviously aren't going to have that up. It's going to be on cooldown. So you do have to be very careful, because Odin is one of those it's a weird situation where when Odin commits, he's almost full committing every time, because you are using literally half your kit as an entry point into that fight or gank. And again, a lot of assassins are only using one ability to get in there. Most of them. So you do have to be very careful. You have to be really confident. And my mistakes were because I kept forgetting that I wasn't tanky. That's on me. But just keep that in mind when you play Odin, that you are basically, once you're in, you're in. There is almost no getting back out for you. There are some circumstances in which you can, but these aren't very common. You are taking a huge risk if you goof. If you goof a gank, it's over, pretty much. Almost guaranteed. Unless you have your ring of spears, and the enemy can't get out of there fast enough by some stretch. For example, the Hopwa never could get out of the ring of spears in time because his auto attack speed isn't fast enough, and he's got no way of getting out of there normally anyways, right? Amaterasu probably could have gotten out because he's got the attack speed build, but an ability-based Amaterasu wouldn't be able to. Same case scenario. So with that being said, thank you all very much for joining me. If you liked this, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, please ignore me. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, suggestions, or requests, please leave them down in the comment section below. And thank you all very much for joining me, and have a great 24 hours.